Have you ever felt like you're playing a game you don't understand? Like people's words, their smiles, their actions don't quite add up, and you're left wondering, what just happened? Maybe someone's hurt you, and you didn't see it coming. Maybe you've doubted yourself, wondering why you keep making the same mistakes. Or maybe you look around and think, why is it so hard to connect, to succeed, to feel like I get this world? I've been there. We all have. That knot in your stomach, that ache in your heart, it's the weight of trying to navigate human nature without a map. But what if you had that map? What if you could see through the masks people wear, understand what drives them, and even master your own impulses? What if you could turn confusion into clarity, betrayal into wisdom, and self-doubt into strength? That's the promise of The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. This book isn't just a guide, it's a mirror, showing us who we are, why we act the way we do, and how to move through life with purpose and power. Today, we're diving into this masterpiece, not by quoting pages, but by unpacking its big ideas in a way that hits home. I'm going to share stories, reflections, and real-world ways to use these insights, like I'm talking to a friend who needs to hear this. Because you do. We're going to explore why people tick, how to spot their hidden motives, and how to become the best version of yourself. So, grab a seat, take a deep breath, and let's unlock the secrets of human nature together. Before we jump in, let's talk about Robert Greene. If you haven't heard of him, he's the guy who writes books that feel like cheat codes for life. He's a master at digging into history, psychology, and power dynamics to explain why people do what they do. His other books, like The 48 Laws of Power, are like playbooks for navigating tricky social waters. Greene's not some ivory tower academic, he's a guy who studied human behavior like a detective, pulling from ancient philosophers, modern leaders, and even con artists to crack the code of what makes us human. The Laws of Human Nature is his deep dive into the forces that shape our actions, our desires, fears, egos, and quirks. Why does it matter? Because understanding these forces is like getting X-ray vision for relationships, work, and even your own mind. This book came out in 2018, but its ideas are timeless. Greene argues that we're all driven by the same instincts, whether we're in a boardroom or a family dinner. If you can see those instincts at play, you can avoid getting played, build stronger connections, and stop tripping over your own blind spots. I remember the first time I picked up this book. I was at a low point, feeling stuck in a job where I didn't fit, confused by people who seemed to say one thing and do another. This book was like a light switch flipping on. It didn't just explain why people acted that way, it showed me how to handle it and how to grow from it. That's why we're here, to give you that same clarity, that same power. Instead of going chapter by chapter, I'm breaking this down into 5 key themes that capture the heart of Greene's ideas. Each one's a tool you can use to understand yourself and others better. Let's dive in. Theme 1, the power of self-awareness. First up, knowing yourself. Greene says we're often blind to our own motives. We think we're logical, but we're driven by emotions, biases, and needs we don't even see. If you don't understand your own wiring, you're like a car with no driver, crashing into the same walls over and over. Think about Lisa, a friend of mine. She was a people pleaser, always saying yes to everyone, co-workers, family, even strangers. She thought she was just nice, but she was miserable, always drained. One day, she snapped at a colleague over something small and felt awful. Why was she so angry? Digging deeper, she realized she was saying yes to avoid conflict, but it built resentment. Her need for approval was running the show, and she didn't even know it. Greene's point is that we all have these hidden drivers. Maybe it's a need to be liked, to win, or to hide our flaws. Self-awareness is like shining a flashlight on them. Once you see them, you can steer your life instead of letting those impulses steer you. How to apply it? Start a journal. Every night, write down one moment where you felt strong emotions, anger, pride, insecurity. Ask, why did I feel that? What was I really chasing? For Lisa, journaling helped her spot her people-pleasing pattern. She started saying no to small things, like extra work tasks, and it freed up energy to focus on what she loved, like painting. Try it for a week. You'll be amazed at what you uncover. Theme 2: Decoding other people's motives. Next, let's talk about reading others. People don't always say what they mean. They wear masks, charm, kindness, even anger, to hide what they really want. Greene says if you can see past the mask to their true motives, you'll never be blindsided again. Take my old coworker, Jake. He was everyone's buddy, always joking, buying coffees, hyping people up. But I noticed something: he'd ask for favors right after being extra nice. Once, he complimented my work, then borrowed my project idea for a presentation. I felt played. Greene would say Jake's charm was a mask for his need to get ahead, even if it meant stepping on others. The trick is to watch actions, not words. People reveal their motives in patterns: how they treat others, what they prioritize, what makes them defensive. If someone's overly nice, ask, what do they want? If they're quick to criticize, maybe they're insecure. It's like being a detective, piecing together clues. How to apply it: next time you're with someone, observe them like a scientist. Notice their tone, their body language, what they talk about most. I started doing this with Jake. I saw he only praised people who could help him. Once I knew his game, I set boundaries, shared less, kept my ideas private. It saved me stress. Try it with a tricky person in your life. You'll feel like you've cracked a code. Theme 3: Navigating group dynamics. Now, let's zoom out to groups. Greene says humans are social animals, and groups, work teams, families, friend circles, have their own rules. There's always a pecking order, unspoken alliances, and power plays. If you don't see them, you'll get caught in the crossfire. I saw this at a volunteer group I joined. We were organizing a charity event, and everyone seemed friendly. But soon, I noticed tension. One guy, Mark, always took charge, shooting down ideas that weren't his. Another woman, Tara, would agree publicly but complain privately. It was like a chess game, and I was a pawn who didn't know the moves. Greene would say groups amplify human nature: ego, jealousy, the need for control. To thrive, you need to read the room: who's the leader? Who's stirring drama? Who's quietly pulling strings? Once you see the dynamics, you can play smart, build alliances, avoid traps, or step back if it's toxic. How to apply it: map out a group you're in. Write down each person's role: leader, peacemaker, rebel. Note how they interact. In my volunteer group, I realized Mark craved control, so I pitched ideas in ways that flattered him. Tara needed validation, so I listened to her complaints without taking sides. It made the group smoother. Try this at work or with friends. You'll feel like a strategist, not a bystander. Theme 4: Mastering your emotions. Greene also talks about emotions. They're like a wild horse, powerful, but if you don't rein them in, they'll run you off a cliff. Anger, envy, fear, they can make you act in ways you regret, like lashing out or giving up. I learned this the hard way. A few years ago, I was passed over for a promotion. I was furious, convinced my boss was unfair. I vented to everyone, even posted a snarky comment online. Guess what? My boss saw it. I didn't just lose the promotion, I lost trust. My anger was real, but it sabotaged me. Greene says emotions aren't bad, but reacting blindly is. The key is to pause, name what you're feeling, and ask, what's this telling me? Anger might signal a boundary being crossed. Envy might show what you want. Once you understand the emotion, you can act with intention, not impulse. How to apply it: when you're upset, try the 5-second rule. Count to 5, breathe, and name the emotion. I'm angry because, then ask, what's the smart move here? After my promotion fiasco, I started doing this. Next time I was mad, I waited, then calmly talked to my boss. It led to a better project instead of a fight. Try it next time you're heated. It's like taming that wild horse. Theme 5, Embracing your unique strengths. Finally, Greene says human nature isn't just about flaws, it's about potential. We all have unique strengths, but we often hide them, chasing what society values instead. Embracing what makes you you is how you shine. My sister, Emma, is a great example. She's always been shy, great at listening but terrible at small talk. She thought it made her boring and tried to be outgoing, but it felt fake. Then she started volunteering at a crisis hotline. Her quiet empathy was perfect, she could calm people in their darkest moments. Now she's a counselor, thriving because she leaned into her strength, not someone else's. Greene's point is that your quirks, your intensity, your curiosity, even your weirdness, are your edge. Society might say, be this, not that, but your power lies in being authentic. Find what you're naturally good at and double down. How to apply it: make a list of 3 things you love doing, even if they seem small: solving puzzles, making people laugh, organizing chaos. Ask, how can I use this more? Emma turned her listening into a career. I love storytelling, so I started this YouTube channel. What's your thing? Lean into it. It's your superpower. We've covered a lot today: self-awareness, reading others, navigating groups, mastering emotions, and embracing your strengths. These ideas from the laws of human nature aren't just theories, they're tools to live better, love smarter, and grow stronger. This book changed how I see the world. It made me less afraid of people's games, more confident in my own skin. I hope it's sparking that for you too. Here's my challenge: pick one idea from today and act on it this week. Maybe journal to uncover your motives. Maybe watch someone's actions to spot their mask. Maybe pause before reacting to anger. Start small, but start. These steps aren't just actions, they're votes for the person you're becoming. Picture yourself a month from now. You're walking taller, seeing through the noise, trusting your gut. You're not perfect, but you're present, playing the game of life with skill and heart. That's the power of understanding human nature. It's not about winning, it's about living true. So, go out there. Be curious. Be brave. Be you. And if this resonated, drop a comment below, tell me which idea hit home. Let's keep this conversation going. Until next time, keep unlocking your potential.